how we keep ourselves aligned, moral, to that rectitude, basically. And I think for me, well, Albi is a huge inspiration, but I think for me, what I always remember is the objective. And that's where, whenever I'm beginning to stray or I'm beginning to wonder about someone else's integrity, I always come back and say, actually, how does that matter? What is my objective? What is Kuapo's objective? And what is the best way for us to keep going towards that objective and not get lost in, the glitz and the glamour, because conservation can be a seriously dirty business. It's just as bad as being in the corporate world or the politician world. I mean, it's pretty disgusting and can be very disillusioning. And I think, for me, it's always coming back to that objective and staying true to that. And it has, you have to kind of just bring yourself back personally every so often and say, this is the goal, this is the objective. And we keep ourselves, honest as well, between the founders of Kuapo with the friends that we have. So I think that is key from a personal perspective. Going to the questions on the Nairobi National Park, I think there's a lot of speculation going on right now, like a ton. And that's a mistake. Let's get the facts. That's the first step. It's not a fenced park to begin with, all around. There are only this one boundary that's actually fenced. And yes, there have been some breaches in that situation due to the construction of the southern bypass and the SGR. So yes, there is an issue there, but there is a wildlife dispersal corridor that has been there for years, generations, centuries, whatever you want to call it, from the southern side where Mohawk was killed through into the Asikapiti, through into Amboseli, and down into Magali. So fencing the park is not a solution. It's just going to become a zoo, and then we'll have to look into things like culling and, let's just not even go there. So I think to face, what I would say is Kuapo has taken a very strong position on the situation and what has happened with Mohawk. We are trying to use it as a way of overhauling human-wildlife conflict and problem animal control policies at KWS, because there is a systemic failure there, and we want to help them to make it better, because we can only do that once we get the facts. So we are going to the ground. We're going to ask people who witnessed what happened. And we're also asking KWS to put in an inquisition and actually really figure out what happened, what actions we need to take to make, things like lions roaming through communities happens all the time. Amboseli, I worked as well in Amboseli, in the group ranches around Amboseli. There's actually 125 to 155 lions in that ecosystem that live most of the time outside in community lands. And yes, sure, there are instances, and they have been in the last year, where lions have been speared in retaliation. But for the most part, that's a growing population. And it was converted, how? Through very good conservation efforts and the community. The community has actually tolerated lions on their lands in an amazing way because of the conservation benefits. So let's get the facts. Nairobi National Park hopefully will not be degazetted. Maybe there's someone somewhere trying to do that. We don't know. That's just speculation. Let's get the facts. Let's address the problems at KWS. Let's help them, because that's what we're here for. And that's also our wildlife and our problem. And let's make a difference. Like the lady, I forget her name, Clara maybe, she said, let's take action. Yes, absolutely. Let's all stand up and take action.
I just want to